All right, fellow patriots, welcome back to another Friday Mental Jujitsu. My name is Michael Buell, and I will be your sensei. Hiya! All right, guys, check it out. Chingaso's bare knuckle boxing. Watch me fight. That's right, I'm back in the game, people. How is that possible? The miracle product. I did 6 month review on it. I don't know what to say other than it's a miracle product. Call my main man Adam Stewart and buy this stuff from him. That's all I can say. Flight math. Listen, I gotta pay for my team to fly out, shuttle bus, hotel. I'm thinking I need between 3 and 5 grand. If you'd like to donate, just type in Buell in the search bar at GoFundMe. I really appreciate it. And all those of you that already donated, man, that makes me feel great. Thank you very much. All right, so let's get moving. This is the Chicano edition. Last week I did the original red man. Today I'm doing the brown Chicano man. Next week will be the colonizing white man, and then the next week will be the no fault of their own black man shipped over here, right? So, but those people that I mentioned are part of what I call the Assembly of Patriots. That's who we are. We have to have this Assembly of Patriots. We don't have to like each other. We have to live with each other. But we have to protect each other against the enemy of the unholy alliance. They want us all gone. So the four American tribes, the red man, the brown Chicano man, the white people, emancipated blacks, Christians, they hate you guys. Conservative minorities, they hate you guys. So that is who the unholy alliance, they hate your race. I'm pretty sure watching the Sydney Sweeney commercial proved to that for some of you that were still sitting on the fence. They hate your race. They hate your freedom of religion. They double time hate Christians. Family values. They hate family values. They hate conservative minorities. And like I said, Sydney Sweeney proved they hate your race. So let's talk about the Chicano culture. This culture has been cultivated, I don't know how many years, thousands of years, right? It's been cultivated this side of the border for a very long time. This is what they've survived. The Aztecs, even though the Aztecs are from Mexico, they went all around Mexico snatching people up to cut their hearts out. So they had to survive. The Chicanos on this side of the border survived the Aztecs. The Spanish, these are straight conquistadors, conquerors. These guys came in and conquered people, destroyed the Aztecs. The Chicanos on this side of the border survived that. The French, well, I think the Chicanos probably beat the shit out of the French. The French didn't last there long. The Mexican Revolution. Remember I told you about culturally consecrated communities, and one of them is called a barrio here in the United States. In fact, from El Paso, Texas, where I'm from, where I saw a lot of cholos and lowriders. That's part of their unique Chicano culture. And a lot of the Mexican revolutionaries came to El Paso, Texas, and lived in those barrios. And of course, the Texas Independence, the War of Independence. But now, all that the Chicanos have been through, the left wing lunatics want to give it away. They want to give away their birthright because they're racist, and I'm going to prove it to you. Watch this. The left wing lunatics are racist. All the empires and wars that Chicano people survived means nothing to the left wing lunatics because everybody south of the Mexican border happen to be short, dark haired, dark eyed people that speak Spanish. So to the left wing lunatics, you're the same. You're the same. Doesn't matter what you've been through, doesn't matter what you cultivated, doesn't matter the trials and tribulations you've been through because you look like the other people. You're the same, and they're going to give it all away. The entire American Southwest, they're throwing it away because people south of the border look like you. That means they're the same as you in the eyes of the left wing lunatics. They don't give a shit about your history or your destiny. Racist. Straight racists. Now check this out, the Texas Revolution. So this is going to be this is a great little history lesson. Let me break this down for you. The Battle of the Alamo, I lived in San Antonio as a little boy, and I loved going to the Alamo, and I loved hearing about the story, but I only heard half the story. I'm going to tell you that half first, then I'm going to tell you the second half. All right. This is what I loved about it. The 200 Texans stood down 5,000 Mexican soldiers. They could have left at any time they wanted. They saw big, giant dust clouds coming. They could have just backed up and left. The reason they didn't was because they needed to stall to give General Sam Houston time to raise an army and find a perfect location for his battle. He was going to fight Santa Anna. So they held him off knowing they were going to die for a dream, for a hope. They didn't own Texas, Mexico did. For a hope. Incredible. So I love that story. They held off Santa for 13 days to stall for Sam Houston. Some of these heroes, Colonel William Travis, you've heard of him. The famous knife fighter Jim Bowie, James Bowie, you heard of him, Davy Crockett, the coonskin cap guy. But let me tell you about James Bonham. This guy was a lawyer. He didn't need to be there. So he had money. He didn't have to be there. But Colonel Travis wrote a letter, gave it to Bonham. Bonham snuck through the Mexican lines, made it to Goliad. Goliad is where the flag, the white flag with the cannon, and come and take it. That's the Mexican government gave them this cannon to defend themselves against the Indians. And when the Texas Revolution started, they came and said, "We want our cannon back," and so they made this flag. Come and get it. Come take it. All right. So James Bonham rode out with this letter from Colonel Travis to go recruit men from Goliad. Nobody came. So James Bonham, he could have just gone home. He could have just hit the bar. He could have picked up some women. But instead, he turned around and broke back through the Mexican lines and ended up fighting and dying with his brothers at the Alamo. How gangster is that? Yeah. So and he returned. So that's a fantastic story. The Battle of the Alamo is great, but I'm Team Mexico on this one because I told you before, nationalism is the only way. So let me tell you about this. So the Mexican government was having a lot of problems with the Indians. The Apaches and Comanches were coming in and slaughtering their people and stealing the cattle. So they were trying to figure out what can they do about this. So some guy down in Mexico City said, "Hey, I got a great idea. Let's invite some of these Anglos." That's what they called us, where they called us the Blue-Eyed Devil. Let's invite some of these Anglos into the Texas territory, not into Mexico proper, into the Texas territory to be a buffer between us and the Indians, literally to be arrow catchers. So the deal was, so what the Mexicans wanted was to increase their population, for taxes probably, increase their economy with the Anglos coming out there and building and creating like they do, farming and ranching, but again, primarily to catch arrows from the Indians. But the deal was this. You had to follow, the Texans were granted, they gave them land grants. So this is what they enticed them with. They gave, if you wanted to come farm, they gave them 177 acres to come farm. If you wanted to come ranch, they offered you over 4,000 acres to come ranch. They offered you 6 years no taxes, and then the next 6 years limited taxes. So they all these incentives to come to Mexico. But the deal was you had to become Mexican citizens. You had to speak Spanish. You had to learn the language, the culture. You had to follow the laws, and you had to convert to Catholicism. And of course, fight the Indians. So the Texans get down there, and then they don't convert to Catholicism. They don't speak Spanish. They're going into town and taking all the Mexican women, all the senoritas. And the Mexican government said, "You know what? It's not working out. We tried, but you're changing our culture. We asked you to come be part of us, blend with us, and you're not. So you're changing our culture." In America, that would be called racism. If you said, "Oh, you got to leave because you're not blending with us." That's racism in America, but everywhere else that's called nationalism. And that's what the key to success is nationalism. So the Mexican government were nationalists, and they wanted the people to come there and become part of the culture, and they didn't do it. All right, guys, did I go over my airfare type fuel into the GoFundMe search thing? And yeah, I wanted to thank all the people that supported me already, giving me money so I can get out there. Like I said, it's Shannon's first inaugural event, so he does not have a lot of cash to do this stuff. But I'd like to get at least 2 of my team members out. I got a little greedy the first time. I think I asked for like 10 grand, but I got all excited. I was trying to turn it into a big party. I was bringing too many people. So I got it down to about between 3 and 5 grand. I can make it a 2-person and myself team come down there and put on a good show for you. And how interesting is that? It's also in Mexico. So that'll be cool. Resist and assist. I'm out.